To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. I made a video the other day and I talked about happiness. I've been talking about happiness a lot and how this off-grid lifestyle has really made Carolyn and I just enthusiastically happy, just crazy happy. And I got a comment and I felt so bad for her. She couldn't understand why I was happy when the world is such a mess. Like I don't have empathy for the rest of the world. And as a matter of fact, I feel like I do have empathy. It's better if I can get on YouTube and try to gain an audience and say, look, you can create your own happiness too. You can be just like me. It got me to thinking about what the heck is going on in the world. And why is everything so upside down and so crazy and right is wrong and wrong is right? I just don't understand. And so instead of trying to understand, it's just easier for me to merge right into my own happiness right here. It seems to me that every time I have to interact with people, it causes me a lot of stress and a lot of unhappiness. And it's absolutely insane. When you're a logical thinking person and you start putting all these little things together and you think, okay, why can you do that, but you can't do that, and they're the same thing? I just watched a video about a guy who was talking about wearing face masks. And he said, you don't have to wear a face mask if you're social distancing over here, but if you're social distancing over here, you still have to wear a face mask. And he says, where's the logic? I don't understand it. And it got me to thinking about some of the things that has happened to me just in the last few days. So I told you that Carolyn and I had to go get our driver's license renewed. Well, I thought that you had to go to the county that your address is in. So my actual address right now is in the county that my mother lives in. I pay taxes in that county. That's where I officially live. And the idea was to transfer slowly our stuff over to this address once we got the tiny house built. I wasn't in any hurry to get the address changed. We'll get the tiny house built. Well, when we went to go get the license, they said they would mail us the license, which was odd to me because it seems to me in the past they gave them to you right then. So that means they're going to mail them to my mom's house. So that either means I got to drive another 2.5 hours to go get my license, or, hey mom, can you just mail them to me? I'm going to go down there, I'm going to go to get a post office box, and can you just mail it to the post office box? Yeah, sure, no problem. Great. So the next day, I go to the post office and I said, yeah, hi, I'd like to get a post office box. And she says, oh, okay, all you need is 2 forms of ID. She says, you'll need a street address. And I thought, wait a minute, I better say something. I said, I don't have an address down here. I have an address in the county. I'm not going to tell you where the county is, but in the county my mother lives in. I told her the county. And she says, oh, no, you got to have an address down here. And I said, well, I just bought this piece of property just down the hill from here. She knew exactly what it was, this small community. And she says, oh, welcome to the neighborhood. And I said, yeah, so that property doesn't have an address. She says, it doesn't. That's right, it doesn't. Okay, so you can't get a post office box unless you have a street address. And I thought, when did this happen? Because the last time I got a post office box was 2002. And she says, so you got to have a street address in the area that you're going to have a post office box because of the Patriot Act. You got to prove that you're a resident of the area. I thought, huh, well, that makes absolutely no sense. Why would I want to get a post office box if I can have mail delivered to my house? It seems like that'd be a lot easier. She says, so what you got to do is you got to call the 911 center. And she gave me the phone number. And they'll give you a street address, and then just come on back and we'll get a post office box. I thought, well, that ain't going to happen. I'm just going to go get a mailbox and I'll put it on the road. Why would I get a post office box to spend money when I can get it for free? I called the 911 center, which I didn't want to do in the first place. That was the whole reason I wanted to wait until I got the tiny house built, because I was pretty sure they were going to go give me a runaround. I was just confident of it. He says, yeah, oh yeah, I know where that's at, sure. And he says, I said, yeah, I just tore down an old trailer there and we're going to build a building here and I need an address. He says, so there's not a building on it currently. Well, I said, well, there's a little shed. Now, I said shed because I felt like that would at least pass, although it's just my truck camper. I mean, whatever you want to call it. I built it. It's homemade. We're going to use it as a shed. So I already felt like I was fibbing to the guy. You know, I didn't say camper. I said shed. He says, oh, no, that won't work. You got to have a building on there in order to get an address. And I thought, wait a minute. And so I said, how do you get a building without an address? Because if you want to go get a building permit, you are required to have an address. He said, you know, I never thought about that. That's true. I guess you would. He says, is there a foundation on the property? Now, just imagine if there wasn't. So I have this concrete foundation. I said, yes. He says, okay, I can give you a temporary address. A temporary address? What is a temporary address? What, are you going to change the address once I get the house built? Makes no sense. He says, the first thing we got to do is we got to send somebody out to confirm that you have foundation. And I thought, oh my goodness, now they're going to send people out, inspectors, you know, the whole thing. What's the deal? He says, so I can't guarantee you anything. He says, maybe 5-7 days, they'll come out. Takes my phone number. Well, I mean, it's been 8 days now, and so I called this morning. And I said, the guy never showed up. He says, yeah, I was going to call you. I just got busy, forgot. Okay, when were you going to call me? He says, yeah, they decided that they weren't going to give you an address. Okay, how is this even possible? This absolutely makes no sense. They're not going to give you an address. You're telling me that I have to break the law to get an address. So what they're saying is you need to build a building without a building permit, which is against the law, if you're going to build it larger than 800 square feet. So we're going to build it smaller than 800 square feet, so I don't need a building permit. I should be able to get an address, according to this guy, once this is finished, because then he can call it a mobile home. Okay, so you got to pour a foundation that has a permit. You have to have a permit for the foundation to park a mobile home on. I have a foundation that I can park a mobile home on, and he says, yeah, you could probably park a mobile home on that. So that's what they're going to do, is we're going to lie about getting around the system. He's going to lie, I'm going to lie. So essentially, what I should have done is lied just straight off the gate. I should have said, yeah, there's a building on here. And he probably would have given me an address. So in order to work in this world, you have to lie. Nothing makes sense in the world anymore. So when we were at the license office, this is a government-run agency, and the government has decided that we have to social distance. Okay, fine. If that's what you want, we'll social distance. You go to the license office, and you have to stand outside. It is 90 degrees outside, blazing hot humidity, concrete sidewalk, blacktop right next to the sidewalk. The sun's beating down on you. There's no shade. And so you get there and you have to stand in line. There was a 90-year-old woman there, and she was getting a disability card for her car. I don't know why she didn't have someone with her or to help her or whatever. I don't know. But they don't really tell you that you're going to have to stand outside in the heat. You call them and they say that you will have to wait outside. So I think a lot of people are assuming they'll give you a number and you can go wait in your air-conditioned car. But no, they're not even giving you a number. If you get out of line, you lose your spot. It says first come, first serve, do not leave the line. That's what the sign said. So this 90-year-old woman standing in line, she is just roasting hot. And I think, my goodness, the government has decided that this virus is so dangerous that we have to leave 90-year-old women sitting out in the hot baking sun next to blacktop on a hot concrete sidewalk. Now, you get inside, right? They call you, and you can't go in as a couple. Carolyn and I had to go in separately. There's one person helping everybody. Now, there's 5 people in the building behind the counter. They're only helping one person at a time. I mean, that's, you can't serve more than one person anymore? And they said, no, we can only serve one person. And I thought, so we're paying these other 4 people to stand around, and they were so loud, chit-chatting, that I couldn't hardly hear the lady behind the glass. You know, they put up these glass partitions now, so you can't breathe on each other. And they're so loud, just cackling and having a good time drinking coffee. One woman doing all the work. And so the logic of this world is falling apart. You can't have an address unless you have a building. You can't have a building unless you have a permit, which requires an address. We live in a world now where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. And we're at such conflict with each other. Things are falling apart so fast. People are in the cities tearing things up, the burning things down. So to the lady who commented that she can't be happy as long as the world is the way it's going to be, I don't know if we're ever going to get around this. They're so complex nowadays that there's just no way for people to be happy. Absolutely no way. Unless you do what we're doing and you get away from it and you try to hide the best you can. Somebody asked me the other day, what happens if they take your property? Which they could. Why couldn't they? They can't give me an address. I can't build a building. Why not? Just come take the property. Makes sense to me. It seems like the most logical thing in the illogical world. What are you going to do, Rob? Well, I'm thinking maybe I'll just get a boat, get out there to sea. What else is there to do? I know how to distill water. I know how to make water out of seawater. I know how to catch fish. So, maybe I could actually self-sustain out there off-grid in the ocean. Then the only thing I have to worry about is tsunamis and hurricanes. That's it. The world is so upside down. So I'm really suggesting to you that things are falling apart fast and that you should prepare now for what could possibly happen in the near future. And I say near future because everything is just falling apart. 2020 has just crashed. People keep asking me, when are you going to build a tiny house? Well, I don't know, because the economy is just so screwy. One day I'm making tons of money, next day I'm not making any. It's just, everything's messed up. Find yourself a little place where you can hide. Realtors that are out in the country now are saying that property is being sold faster than they've ever seen before. I just watched another YouTube video about a realtor in this area. As soon as they put it up for sale, it's sold. People from out of state, people from the cities are coming down here and buying it up. And he said he's been doing this for like 25 years and he's never seen anything like this. People are seeing something happening. People are seeing that they got to get away from the madness, because logical people are beginning to realize there is no logic in the world. So I hope I can encourage you to really consider finding something away from where all the madness is happening. Thanks for watching.